Do you want to hear about the book that changed my life and led to me becoming the improvement geek? Well, today I'm going to be talking about the one book that I would recommend to anybody that wants to improve themselves, and I'm starting right now. Hello, I'm the improvement geek. So, last summer I was looking for something that would maybe help me find the discipline I needed to lose that last 30 or 40 pounds to reach my goal weight. I don't remember exactly how, but somehow I found out about the book Maximum Achievement by Brian Tracy. I had never read any self help book before then, and I had no expectations going into it. So I tracked down the audiobook version of it and listened to the entire thing. It was about 2 hours while walking around Centennial Park in Nashville. Side note, I found out when I was rereading the print version of the book that I had somehow gotten the abridged version of the audiobook, which only had about 20% of the actual content of the book. Despite the fact that I had unknowingly listened to a very concentrated version of the book, I was extremely impressed by it, and I was inspired to start reading and listening to more self improvement books. Now, almost a year later, I've read over 50 books similar to that, and started this YouTube channel, and I still read about one book per week. By the way, if you have any suggestions about books that you think I should read or maybe review on this channel like this, then let me know down in the comments. I'm always looking for new suggestions. I would define maximum achievement as a guide to defining your goals and setting yourself up to achieve them through your thoughts and your actions. It's a very dense book. It doesn't have many stories or anecdotes or other fluff that a lot of books nowadays seem to have. I would recommend reading it in small chunks so that you have time to internalize the lessons that are in the book. And as you read it, I would also recommend doing so with a pen and a paper and taking notes. That way you can refer back to your notes later on and also use your notes to formulate a plan to apply the bits of the book that stand out to you most. Now, I'd like to go over 3 key takeaways that I had from the book, starting with number 1. Ambitious goal definition is the first step towards success. Tracy says you must be absolutely clear about what it is you want out of life because, well, you can't hit a target that you can't see. Precisely defining your goals will give you a clear vision of what it is that you want out of life and enable you to make a detailed plan on how to achieve it. Tracy calls this skill the master skill that will turn a directionless wanderer into a goal-seeking machine. When you go to set those goals, set them with high expectations. The expectations we have for ourselves actually has a big impact on our performance. If you go into something thinking that you're going to do well, then you probably will. But if you go into something thinking that it's going to go poorly for you, that's probably what you're going to get. If you're expecting a positive outcome, then it goes without saying that you believe that you can achieve that outcome, which helps a lot. Tracy says some of the biggest roadblocks you'll encounter along your journey are your own negative self-beliefs, such as, I can't do it, I'm not smart enough, and so on. These beliefs actually stop people from ever trying to do something in the first place. Don't let that happen to you. The first step to doing something is believing that you can do it. Number 2. Progress is supposed to be uncomfortable. You probably heard the term homeostasis before. It's your body's tendency to resist changes in an attempt to keep everything constant and stable. Well, your brain actually does the same thing in that it resists thoughts and actions that are inconsistent with the identity you built up throughout your past behaviors. Just like your body warming itself up to resist the cold temperature when you're outside in the winter, your brain will resist actions that are inconsistent with your prior behavior. For example, if you're someone that's never been to the gym before and maybe considered it but felt nervous and talked yourself out of it, that was your subconscious homeostatic impulse at work. It makes things that are inconsistent with your identity feel awkward and wrong, and you might even feel like you're really in danger. But unless you're going out and trying to chase a tiger or something like that, you're probably not really in danger. That's just your subconscious mind trying to protect you. There's no getting around it. Changing yourself is going to be an uncomfortable process at times. On days where your motivation and your discipline are running low, getting up early in the morning and going to the gym or going for a run is going to feel like a really stupid thing to do and something that you never should have done in the first place. But there's a bright side to all this. If you stick with it and you focus on the things that you should be doing to achieve your goals, then eventually what you're going to do is you're going to change your identity and you're going to raise the set point that your body and your mind want to keep you at. And then getting up in the morning and not going to the gym or hitting the snooze button or something like that, that's going to feel like the wrong thing to do because it's no longer consistent with your new identity. Number 3, whatever you reap, you've sown. The most profound thing that I got out of this book the first time I read it was the way Tracy related the concept of sowing and reaping to our success in life. See, every day we're planting seeds that will grow into something that our future self will harvest. The thing that really got me about this concept, though, was the way he kind of flipped it around and said that our current life is a result of the seeds that we've sown over the past. Now, I know that this seems really obvious, but I guess sometimes we need to see something supposedly obvious in a certain way for us to really get it. Or maybe that's just me. I don't know. The lesson here is to be mindful of how your daily choices impact your future self. I'm not saying that you need to be perfect, but you do need to try to plant more good seeds than bad seeds. Each day, try to do something that your future self will thank you for. This is actually an extremely important topic, and I have a lot more to share on it, so I'll be coming back to it soon. And hey, since you're here on this channel watching these videos, you're already on the right track to improving yourself. My favorite quote from the book, that was honestly a big wake-up call for me, was related to the last point. Success is not like going to a restaurant where you can pay the bill after you've enjoyed the dinner. The success you desire requires payment in full, in advance, every single time. I have 2 critiques of maximum achievement. Number 1 is the superconsciousness. About halfway into the book, Tracy starts talking about the superconsciousness, which he says is the source of all creativity, inspiration, and invention. He says that if you can learn to tap into the superconsciousness, which he explains how to do so in the book, that you can achieve basically anything that you want. He also says that many great figures in history, like Einstein, Mozart, and Tesla, achieved what they did because they figured out how to tap into the superconsciousness. Here's how it works. You consciously think something, your subconsciousness relays a thought to the superconsciousness, and the superconsciousness processes the thought and works to deliver insights to your consciousness, which lead to that thought becoming reality. This works for both good and bad thoughts, which is why it's so important to be positive, optimistic, and focus on your goals so that you're feeding your subconsciousness good things. This concept has also been referred to as the collective unconscious by German psychiatrist Carl Jung, and The Infinite Intelligence by author Napoleon Hill. Critics dismiss the idea, saying that it's entirely scientifically invalid and unprovable. Being that this channel is focused on the science of self-improvement, I felt an obligation to bring this up as a criticism. However, it's honestly the one really questionable idea in the entire book, and it makes a good bit more sense the way that Tracy explains it. Just take it with a grain of salt and you'll be fine. Number 2, visualization. Tracy says that you should precisely define everything that you want to be and everything that you want to get out of life, and then frequently, daily if possible, fantasize that you've already achieved all those desires and bask in the feeling of having them. He says that this will change your programming, increase your motivation, and strengthen your resolve. But that's not exactly true. See, your brain can't really tell the difference between an imagined event and a real event. So if you're frequently imagining that you've already achieved everything that you want, and you're imagining that feeling of having everything that you want, then your brain's going to believe that, and so it's not going to think that there's any need to keep putting in effort towards achieving your goals. Throughout several studies, Professor Gabriel Oettingen found that subjects who spent a lot more time fantasizing about success were a lot less likely to actually put in the effort to achieve that success. However, she did find that the subjects that immediately followed up fantasy by taking an action that would help them get closer to their goal worked harder to achieve that goal. This is because those subjects were better able to connect their current reality with successfully fulfilling their wish. I feel like this mental contrasting, as she calls it, changes the saying dream big to dream big, then take action. I'm actually really interested in this comment, so I'll be revisiting it in a future video. But for now, I'll put a few resources down below if you're interested in reading, including one of the research papers by Professor Oettingen. I give Maximum Achievement by Brian Tracy a solid 5 out of 5. If I had to choose just one book that I would recommend to anyone that wanted to change their lives, it would be this one. I highly recommend that you pick this book up. Like I said earlier, just take your time with it, go through it slowly, and take lots of notes. I promise you, if you actually apply some of the lessons in this book, it'll change your life. It definitely changed mine, and it led me down the path that I'm on now of trying to help other people change theirs. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm the Improvement Geek, and I talk about scientific self-improvement, career advice, and book reviews just like this one. I upload new videos every Saturday, so hit the subscribe button if you haven't already to make sure you catch them all. This book was very influential in designing my method of goal definition and planning. If you want to learn more about that, then check out this video right here. Or if you want to hear about 10 things that I've learned so far in my engineering career, then you can check that out right here. I'll see you in the next one.